Hey guys, how you all doing? This is not the usual commentary video, or the longer form commentary video with really a point. This is just an invasion of the same guy 8 times. Back before 1.06. Yes, that long age ago, that was really 2 weeks ago, where you kind of just had to keep invading the same places because you couldn't really get activity in other places. You kind of just had to target places where you knew there was going to be a lot of activity, and that was the activity you got. I know, such a long time ago. Who can hardly remember at this point? The 1.06 update has really changed our lives. But anyways, I just kept invading this one player over and over again, and here are all of my encounters with Mr. Nicholas Mage here. Now, initially, when I started recording this video, I ranted for like 2 minutes about how I hated this kind of player, and I've done that same sort of rant in a past video too, but I gave it a little bit more thought and went back and deleted that commentary and kind of thought about the fact that we always tell people, hey, if you want duels, go to 125, the one place that everyone puts their signs down, main academy gate, that's where the duels happen, and that's kind of lousy advice for people who are thinking about getting into PvP, because sometimes they just want to dip their toe in the water, and having to dedicate tens of hours to making a PvP build to get to 125, only to figure out that, hey, your build kind of sucks and you've wasted all these ancient dragon and dragon smithing stones on weapons that you don't actually like. That's not that fun, and it's a lot of investment only to find out, hey, I don't even really like PvP. And the other part of that too is that when we tell people these things, they usually over-leveled their character to the point where they can't go back to 125. So when I finished this game, my first playthrough, I was I believe rune level 140, 150, around there. I've deleted that character since then. But for someone who's just played through the game for the first time and then is like, oh, I want to do PvP, and they're like, well, make a build and go to 125. And they're like, okay, play this 80-hour game again. And yeah, it's not going to take you 80 hours to get to 125 again, but it's going to take you a while to get to that point again. So I don't really fault people like Nicholas Mage here, who just level up to 40 and try a few things out. And honestly, I think I'm going to start doing this sort of thing more often. Maybe not hosting at Boilprawn Shack, because I do still resent that. But I am thinking about making builds that start at 40 and just getting a sense of what's good. Grab Radagon Source Seal, grab a few golden seeds, and just try out a bunch of different weapons per character and see what's fun. See, because I'm actually working on 3 different builds right now, and none of them are done, and only one of them I have a general idea of what I'm doing with it. I think I figured out only today, on Friday. I'm probably going to release this video tomorrow on Saturday. But only today have I figured out what's good or what's fun about the other one. And it's a lot different than what I had made on a Google spreadsheet as a build planner. And then the third one, I've gotten up to 100, and I'm only starting to realize now that maybe I don't actually like this build in the slightest, or that I need to radically change things about it. So it's rough. It's much easier just to make a vagabond starting class, figure out what's fun about what you're trying to do at level 40, because activity is good and the damage is low, so you can make mistakes and not just get obliterated for it, but you start to develop a playstyle. And that's kind of what I like about making different builds, is you develop individual playstyles for individual builds. I'm not just trying to make the same halberd build, but it does blue damage instead of red damage instead of yellow damage. I'm trying to make something that does something completely different every single build. But anyways, here I am fighting Nicholas Mage with the same old Dex build. There's this running joke that people like to make, which I partially agree with, and I've really come to resent myself for, which is that all of my builds are just Dex builds, but slightly different. And that's kind of true, so I'm trying to branch out a little bit. So far, my biggest issues with Faith builds are that I have a hard time aggressing with things that aren't Catch Flame or bestial slaying. And I don't know if there's a lot else that really aggresses with it, but it's just hard to do stuff from neutral with incantations because so many of them are like the big spectacle incantations, like a lot of lightning and then also a lot of lightning. And so I'm trying to find some other stuff, some quicker stuff that faith builds do. I'm not opposed to like a lot of fire, but there are actually like shockingly few fire incantations in this game, and some of the really cool ones require just like 45 plus faith. Like Flame of the Fell God is such a cool spell. I have no plans to make a 50 faith build, so if you guys have any recommendations on that, please let me know. I'd love to know what else is fun with the faith stat. I'm also working on what I thought was going to be like a lightning build for Lernia, but I just need a few more stats in general to make a couple other things work. So I think I'm just probably going to take that all the way up to 60 and hopefully have a fun time hosting in Lanedale. Because I've always had this notion that if I can't get a lot of activity there, I should just become the activity and host like Taunter's Tongues runs throughout Lanedale when I want some activity. Because now that we actually have this like version of Wex Dust, I've been getting more Lanedale invasions, but I still struggle to get constant activity in Lanedale itself. Like I have some dedicated Lanedale characters, but just the activity just at that legacy dungeon isn't that consistent. So that's going to end up actually being a sacred build because it uses all these like body buffs. Stuff like Dragon Bolt's Blessing, which if you've ever fought that, you'll know just how annoying that is going to be for people who fight me. Not in like a sweaty way, just it's obnoxious. You'll see. Hopefully at some point. And then the last build is a Death Sorcerer build, which actually starting to come together, but I'm targeting 133 because you need a lot of stats to make those builds. So it's going to take me a while to make it, but it's really coming along. I'm really having a blast playing through the game with its specific weapon and whatever sorceries and various spells I can pick up along the way. It's really been pretty fun to put together, but again, the game is so large and so long that it's hard to put together builds just like period. It's hard to put together builds because you need so much stuff. You have to roam the map to get all your seeds, and you have to roam the map to pick up everything that you need, like the tiers, and then the tiers that go in your physic flask, and then all the different cookbooks. I get it from a gameplay perspective. Like it's a very fun game to play for your first time ever, or as you make the build. And I wouldn't really ever expect them to do anything differently. Like I would never actually really want Fromsoft to make build making easier if it takes away from the overall playthrough experience. That would never be something I really want. But it's a very long game, and if there's ever a DLC, it's going to be that much longer because you know there's going to be stuff that you really want in the DLC. So yeah, those are the 3 builds. Here I am, still in this gameplay, still fighting old Nicholas Mage. Boy, are we still going. But yeah, I didn't have too much else to say. I kind of just wanted to tell you guys about like the builds I'm making, and then also encouraging you to try out more builds at lower levels before you take them all the way up to whatever target level that you wanted. It's really easy to get burned out making builds all the time, and that's all you do. So I'd encourage you to make a build for 40. If you like it, stick with it. If you don't, respec it to something else. But the important part is that you're enjoying your time playing this game, right? Because if you're playing Elden Ring, it's because you have free time, and you should spend your free time doing something that you actually enjoy. But I don't have too much else to say. I just kind of wanted to put something out there while I work on these builds and while I work on videos for these builds. So that's all from me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.